Hello and welcome to this presentation of the Premier Ultimate League on the PUL YouTube channel. Tonight, Portland Rising is taking on Colombia's Medellin Revolution Pro. We're now just a few minutes away from the opening pull here at Fitzpatrick Stadium at a humid night in Portland, Maine. As we kick off this PUL Championship Series International Tournament, thank you very much for watching. I'm Ross Ketchke, and I'm thrilled to be joined in the broadcast booth tonight by Rising's own General Manager, Maddie Purcell. Maddie, how you doing?
Feeling great. Excited for the game.
I'm excited for the game as well. Definitely a humid night here, but a very exciting night and summer for the Ultimate community here in Portland, Maine. You've been involved with this from the very beginning. Tell me about Rising, the history of the team, what it means to be having this tournament be held here in the home city tonight.
It means so much. I mean, just, very briefly, we started in 2020 right into the teeth of the pandemic, and it's been almost 2 years since Rising was conceived until it's playing its first official PUL game. So getting to this moment means a ton for the players on the field. It means a ton for everyone who's helped put it together, staff, volunteers, everyone here in the stands tonight. And we're just excited to see a good game.
And what does Rising mean for those watching around the world tonight? The greater Portland area and New England as a whole has such a strong history of Ultimate, and Rising really does mean something special to what is such a unique Ultimate community here in this pocket of the country.
Yeah, here in Maine, I mean, it's been under the guidance of Maine Ultimate since 2012, but since the 80s, it's been just a really strong, hot pocket of Ultimate. The summer leagues are great, the club teams, youth are great, and it just being able to highlight that and put a new spin on it. We're bringing professional Ultimate to Portland, Maine now. We're getting to do something that hasn't been done before, put these players in real spotlight.
And as we take a look at the field now, players and fans observing a moment of silence. We'll have more on that in a moment as we join them in this brief moment of silence.
And to honor and celebrate the indigenous leaders who continue to protect the same land here today. Please join us in 30 seconds of silence. Thank you for joining us. Thank you again for being here with us today and taking a moment to celebrate.
And Maddie, Rising's team name connected to the same reason behind that moment of silence. Would you care to speak about that a little?
Yeah, so this is a land acknowledgement in honor of the Wabanaki people, the Wabanaki Confederacy, on whose land we're playing today, we're announcing. This is the indigenous people of the area of land that we're on, who've been here since time immemorial, stewards of the land, and who have really, the process of colonization has been as brutal in Maine as anywhere else. And so important to us to recognize that as we fight for indigenous rights, territorial rights alongside our leaders who are still here today, the Penobscot, the tribes of the Wabanaki who are leading. And Rising, the name, has so much to it that, for instance, like the Wabanaki means the dawn land. It's where the sun rises first. That's what we have in Maine here. It's the first place the sun rises in the country. Still rising, still persevering. All these kinds of themes really have we have a lot of shared respect and honor for the people whose land we're on today.
Rising wearing their home whites this evening. Tell me about what it's been like to see these players come together, especially through such a challenging last 15 months that it's been, through remote workouts to finally getting back in person to training camp to now competing in their very first games as part of the Premier Ultimate League.
Yeah, I think you just saw it with that shoulder shimmy on the field. It is a relief, a thrill to be out there. I mean, it's been a lot of Zoom.
Yeah, they're an electric group for sure. It comes out so much when they're in person with each other.
Yeah, it's just been an honor and privilege to be able to work with this team throughout the pandemic and see the ways that we've been able to work with and support our community, be supported by our community, and finally get to put on a show for them this evening.
And looking at the visiting team tonight, Revo Pro here in Portland, Maine, without a doubt, a team that took Ultimate by storm not long ago, just over the last few years. Ultimate fans in general, so excited to see them in this part of the country. What's it like to be able to take them on this evening?
Well, you know, one of the amazing things about Revo is they actually have like a 20-year history as a club. So they've transitioned to the pro team, joining the Premier Ultimate League in the 2018 run-up 2019 pilot season. And so the team is coached by Mauricio Moore, who's done an incredible job growing the game in Colombia. Leaders on the field tonight: Alejandra Torres, Gina Cartagena, by many people would call her one of the best players in the world. Alejandra Uribe, Laura Ospina, one of the best highlights we've ever seen from the indoor, I think, WIFDIF finals a couple years ago. Valeria Cardenas, an incredible handler. Elizabeth Mosquera, I mean, when you're talking about best players in the world, she's got to be on the list.
She's, of course, in the conversation. So many players on this line, cracking into that conversation. If you could put together your dream line, offense or defense, of players on the planet right now, more than a few of them make this starting line for Revo Pro.
Which is just so exciting to be able to have, Rising get to compete against them, bring Colombia to the Portland area, and get to have this celebrated here.
We're taking a look at Rising's starting line now. This group got a lot of action last week as well. What have you seen from these players as we go left to right and take a look at what we're starting with tonight for Portland Rising?
So left to right, I do want to get to the right. We've got Emily Batra, a very elite handler, lots of experience in the New England area. Megan Moose Wilson and Hannah Henkin, also core handlers, got a lot of throws. And Rachel Nasa Kramer, I think, is going to be a player to watch tonight. Super explosive on defense and then converts just as well going the other way.
In just my opinion, coolest nickname on the team.
You know what it is? I'm going to tell you right up front. We should probably save this, but it's because when she sneezes, it sounds like a rocket ship taking off.
Terrific. And then we move on to Sarah Judd.
Yeah, another dynamic player. Honestly, I think Sarah, S.J. Judd, and NASA have a lot in common as players. And then Caitlin O'Connell, leader, captain off the field, just a really dynamic, deep cutter, deep defender, super fast. We're going to see wheels. And then finally, Kelly Kerwin. Honestly, a different player than Caitlin, extremely quick, can change direction on a dime, and looking forward to see what she does on the field today there in the red mask, second from the right.
And Rising back to PUL to kick off this first game of the International Championship Series as part of the Premier Ultimate League. You're watching this on the Premier League's YouTube channel. Very exciting as we get this weekend of competition in Portland, Maine underway. The PUL is up, floating down just past midfield towards the far sideline, the Revo sideline, as they pick up to get their offense going. Revo centers the disc, moving it upfield quickly. Moving it now to the near sideline. Looking to center back to a handler now. A huge D for Rising.
That's Caitlin O'Connell coming through on Elizabeth Mosquera for the first big play of the game.
Didn't take long, it never does. Rising picks up on offense now.
It's Emily Batra with the disc, looking for something.
Batra takes a shot downfield, and Revo with a D. Big layout attempt there from Rising.
Looks like we've got a bit of a clam happening on defense. Some kind of contain.
Trying to muck up some of those easy ins. Revo working it up now on the doorstep of the end zone. A great stopping on a dime to clear some space there. Revo swings to the break side, just now almost inches away from the end zone, working it back to the center now, looking to get more space to initiate their end zone offense. Taking a shot, still just inches out, and they find the space they need. That is number 7, Laura Ospina.
I think it's Ospina.
Ospina. Her teammates call her Cappy.
I mean, Rising's got to be happy with a big D stop on the first point of the game.
I mean, and a huge layout there, and then a near layout D also. Rising coming out, firing on all cylinders on defense there. And that's the, they did not make that easy. That's the kind of defensive point that you have to be happy with. You shut the door in 3 or 4 places as one of the best offenses on the planet looks to punch it into the end zone. They did not make it easy.
Looks like that was an assist from Valeria Cardenas, which wouldn't be surprised if we say a couple more times tonight.
These players probably very happy that the sun is just starting to go behind some of the trees here in Portland, Maine. It's been one of the hottest days of the summer. That's not something that we should overlook calling this game right now. It is swamp-like conditions here in Portland, Maine. And they were playing through the heat and humidity last week as well, but today has been especially warm. The pull now coming from Revo down the field towards Rising. A fantastic pull.
Mosquera really known for her pulls, very elite.
Rising with the disc centered now. Gaining on some big in-cuts there. Lizzie Laurie now advancing it up the sideline.
This looks like there's some confusion.
Ooh, a layout D there. That's coming from number 33, Valeria Cardenas.
Revo with the second break opportunity of the game. For those who haven't watched a ton of Ultimate already, the team on offense is basically expected to score the point. So if the defense gets a turn then and is able to punch it in, then they go up a break. And that is an advantage, obviously, trying to get the most points to win the game.
Not a perfect comparison, but almost like a pick six in football. You don't expect the defense to score. And an upline cut from Revo, now just about 5 yards out from the red zone, and they find it. Looks from the broadcast booth that may have once again been number 33, Valeria Cardenas. A strong showing, especially on the offensive side of the disc, to start this game for Revolution Pro.
I mean, that is just a cheeky little inside backhand. I think that's both the scores so far. Real quick release, low, hard to defend that.
And it's been a lot of misdirection too, looking to the middle, and then once that stall count gets to 4, 5, 6, that quick fake in, and then they're finding those upline cuts, and it doesn't take much space when you're only 5 yards out from the end zone. Revolution Pro back to pull again. The disc in the hands of number 20, Gina Cartagena. And the pull is up, curving back in towards the center of the field. Rising picks up.
Looks like a little isolation to start for Caitlin Fitzgerald.
We saw some great plays off the pull last week on offense in Rising's inaugural game. Back to the center now.
Kelsey Devlin from Rising using one of those little inside backhands of her
And
own.
a shot towards the end zone now, going just out of reach of number 14, Hannah Baranis. What, 8 minutes, 20 seconds left in the first quarter of play here. Easy reset now for Revolution. Revolution now pretty close to the 4 sideline. And a turn there, Rising with a chance to capitalize again as they take the disc back. Still looking for their first score of the game. Revolution Pro has done a fantastic job of taking away the deep option in the early moments of this game. And a tough turn there for Rising, giving yet another break opportunity here for Revolution Pro. Nice layout to keep it alive there from Revo. And a swing to the break side now. Revolution Pro very patient on their offense so far.
Yeah, taking time. Here's a shot.
A contested in the big D there.
By Hannah Baranis, getting up for the swat. Just as you say, they're super patient.
Just as I say, they're patient. Wait, when you see those opportunities, though, you have to score. You got to go for them. And you're up 2 breaks. You got to be feeling pretty confident about how your offense is flowing, and not a bad look to the end zone there. But Hannah Baranis making a great play to close that space and swat it out of the air. Rising at their own end zone now, looking to march the disc all the way down the field and punch it home for their first score of the game. A nice underneath throw. A turn, though, falling just out of reach of the cutter. Revolution now has the opportunity to pick up the disc just a few yards out from their own end zone. They've been great here all evening. The big around side backhand and towing the line to just get it in there. That's number 7, Anika Young on the score.
I think it's Akina Young.
Akina Young.
Towing the line there.
Akina Young towing the front line of the end zone as Revolution goes up 3-0.
Plenty of time to think about it, but that kind of focus takes a lot every time you get the chance to catch something on the corner.
And the cheeky high release backhand to get it there as well. Akina Young showing a lot of awareness there to keep the feet in the end zone.
Okay, so a little bit about how the game is going to run today. For those of you who haven't seen a lot of PUL games so far, it is a game of quarters, 4 of them. They are 10 minutes apiece, and it is a running clock except between scores until the last 2 minutes of the 4th quarter. So what happens at the end of this first quarter, we're going to see the team with possession. Even if the buzzer runs out, they get a chance to finish the possession. If there's a turn, points dead, we end the quarter. 4th quarter is where you see the buzzer beater come into play.
And we've seen some very exciting plays there from some of the other Ultimate Leagues that have tried working with that more 4-quarter type structure instead of the typical, 1st to 15 or to a hard cap. And the disc getting away there from Rising's number 23, Emily Bacher. Looks like their players are talking it over, maybe a strip.
You don't see a disc do that very often.
It's not supposed to go that way. And a shot down now from Bacher. Looks like it may sail out of bounds. And it's a turnover with Revolution Pro picking up. Revolution Pro on the 4 sideline now. Towing the line to keep it in there. Not a lot of space to work when this is where you're keeping the Frisbee, although we've seen them work it back to the middle quite successfully. We'll see if Rising can hold them to that 4 side. Certainly makes the offense a lot harder to negotiate. A shot towards the end zone now, floating. Oh, and the incredible recovery.
Man, you see Elizabeth Mosquera bring in a lot of goals in the end zone. You don't see the bobble often, but what focus to be able to continue pulling it in with the defense closing.
And elevating up the focus to keep the eyes and the hands around the disc even after the bobble, keep the feet down, come down balanced and controlled. The huge throw coming from around as well.
Do you see that on the replay, that inside, like digging it through the air?
Absolutely filthy. Revolution Pro now scoring on 3 breaks in a row here to start the game. 4-0 Revolution.
I think the first one was a defensive point for Rising. So 1 hold, 3 breaks, is that right?
Yeah, 3, and it's been 3 breaks in a row.
Oh, my bad.
No, that's okay. I didn't do well in counting. It was not a strong suit for me.
Already up to 4.
Well, we've seen how potent that offense and defense can be and how quickly they turn that momentum around as well on these turns. Some self-inflicted for Rising, but others really fantastic defense coming from Revolution Pro.
I'm interested that Rising hasn't taken a timeout yet, but then I'm remembering this is the first official game. Like, the team needs time to figure out what's working, what's not working. Maybe it's just nerves. Maybe just need to shake it off.
After taking on New York last week in a bit of a tune-up game, and we saw some really fantastic offensive sets come out of that, especially taking on a team that's been playing together for a little bit longer.
Some
Rising.
Best offense we've seen so far. Teammates in places, ready for the next disc.
Stall count getting a little high, and a cheeky little strike cut, and now a shot to the end zone. Rising tracking. A score for number 16, Aaron Ray.
I think that was an assist from Catherine Cole, and you gotta like that when you have a receiver like Aaron Ray, just pure clear grass ahead of her, clear turf, I'd say.
Kate Cole, no problem with that trigger. Always happy to let it fly, especially catching it with momentum like that. Looking downfield, nothing but green turf.
Aaron had one of the biggest plays of the exhibition tune-up last week. They were streaking downfield. It was full speed. I think they were running after the disc like 40 meters or so. Ended up catching it with the layout, punched it in. That one was a bit easier.
All right, Portland getting on the board here. Their first point of the game. About 4.5 minutes left to play here in the first quarter in this championship series matchup between Revolution Pro and Portland Rising.
Rising's got to be happy to get a D-line out there. Chloe Rouse with the big pull.
Some fresh legs as well. Revolution doing it a few yards at a time with a series of well-timed in-cuts there. Covering a lot of ground and not a lot of time. Towing the line there. Staying just in. Observer says it was in.
Looking for a backup call. So we have 3 observers with us today. We have Sam Schurer, Malika Smoot, and Frank Wang co-working to get this game called. And looks like the disc is going to go back. Tight dump defense from Nicole Canning. Finally gets it off.
Still on the sideline, though. The first few points of the night for them, they did a fantastic job of working it back to the middle. As they're able to do right there, really opens up offensive opportunities. Now back on the doorstep of the end zone. Fakes the big around. Easy reset now. Fresh stall count. Still on their own corner, just inches away from the pylon. A swing back closer to the center now, but losing a little bit of space. Now about 10 yards back. There's the patience from Revolution Pro we've been talking about. Not quite in, tiptoeing just outside the lines. And there's the 5th point of the night for Revolution Pro.
It's like Laura Ospina to Elizabeth Mosquera. Definitely took a lot more passes that time.
It did, and that's it. We've been praising Rising's defense. They have not been making it easy, especially on the goal line. The end zone defense, it's not easy. There's 7 players on the field, lots of opportunities to find that little bit of space that you need, and they've been closing the door. They've definitely been giving Revolution Pro plenty of opportunities to make mistakes, although already making her presence felt there on the game. Mosquera, the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen her score tonight?
Mosquera, yeah, and Ospina, who threw the assist, has been playing since the age of 13, competed several different national teams, but also has 2 ESPNW Best of the Years to her name. So, these are probably fairly pedestrian plays for her, just punching it in, punching it in.
A point's a point, and I think Revolution Pro will take them where they can get them as they go up 5-1 here against Portland Rising. About 3 minutes left in the first quarter of play. Pull now on the way, coming down towards Portland Rising. That one sails out of bounds. It will likely come up a decent way on the field. I didn't get a great look of exactly where it went out, but Rising will gain some yards here. Rising taking the disc from the center of the field here. Kelsey Devlin starting the offense.
Ooh, that is a tight little cut from Revolution, playing a zone here.
The first zone of the night we've seen. Oh, towing the line just barely. Looks like that The feet were out, though. It's turnover going the other way. Revo picking up.
So our field today, 40 yards wide, 80 yards long with two 20-yard end zones. And point of contact has to be in the field for it to be legal.
Ooh, getting down for the disc, but that stayed up. Number 42, Leaf Valchek on the layout there.
Big fake from Cardenas.
Got the defender to bite. Now the big inside-out shot. And in the back of the end zone, finding number 42, Leaf Valchek.
Boy, that disc just sits. That is pretty. The amount of touch on that to go exactly where it needs to be and then just wait for the receiver.
A highly skilled throw, especially looking to the back of the end zone there. The patience to stay chilly, not necessarily take the first impulse to look over the top for the hammer. A less reliable throw, a more difficult throw to catch as well for the cutter. Absolutely filthy getting that to stay in and cut back. Not sailing out of the back either. Absolutely beautiful throw. Six points up on the board so far for Revolution Pro, one for Portland Rising. Lights are coming on now at the field as the sun's getting a little bit further by the trees, and I want to tell myself that it's getting a little bit cooler up here.
I think we're going to have to wait for halftime for that one, Ross.
I can dream. Revo back to PUL now, and the disc is up. Floating, hanging, and touching down inbound. Oh, an offsides call looks like from the observer. Oh, a timeout called from Portland.
So in the PUL, you are able to sub players. You can sub up to the full line on a timeout. And I know that's something Rising's been talking a lot about this week. There's opportunities, not sure it's what we would have expected. Maybe there was miscommunication there. The PUL shouldn't have actually gone up. But what you can do is you can let the stall count get to 8, 9. It comes back in on 0. Full new line, fresh legs. It's an additional strategic thing in the coach's toolbox.
Certainly. And we'd like to thank everyone watching all across the world for tuning into the 2021 PUL Championship Series International Tournament, and a special thanks to all the fans who showed up tonight in person. If you're on the YouTube stream and enjoying the game this evening, consider donating the cost of a ticket to the PUL. There are links available right now on the live stream and also on the PUL website. That's premierultimateleague.com/donate. One more time, premierultimateleague.com/donate. And thank you.
Also want to thank Spin Ultimate. This broadcast tonight is brought to you by Spin Ultimate. They are the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. Thank you for making that possible. Saw assistant coach Will Neff giving an impassioned speech there, trying to right the boat, give Rising something to lock onto as they work to climb out of this deficit.
And it's early in the game. You might think back on your heels, down 5 points to start. It's certainly not the way that you plan on coming out, but there's a lot of Ultimate left to play. We've seen a lot of action so far, and we still have a few minutes left to play just in the first quarter. So a long way to go this evening to make up lots of ground and then some. All right, take 2 on this pull. Rising taking a solid shot upfield to start the point. Looking for a reset now. Stall count getting high. And a good reset there. Rising with the disc on the sideline. Bat throw arcing back towards the end zone. Floating up near the sideline. An incredible job bringing it down. Looked like keeping the feet in bounds through Yuga Shao there. Incredible job keeping the feet in bounds.
You hear the crowd in the stands really appreciating that one.
And that's the kind of big play that can swing momentum as well. Sometimes you need to see if you get there. You need to see your teammates catching the disc, getting things in flow, everybody getting excited, running onto the field to celebrate a highlight play like that. That's one we'll be watching all night.
Fitz wasting no time putting that up. That's trusting your receiver.
And that's trusting your throws, too. I mean, there's very little room for error making a throw like that when you're backed up against your own sideline.
When your receiver's Yuka Shao, I understand why you're trusting it, yeah.
Yeah, an impressive burn downfield there. Rising now getting their third chance to start on defense this evening.
Looks like we've got that starting lineup in here again. Megan Wilson, Emily Bacher set to pull, Hannah Henkin, Sarah Judd, Kelly Kerwin, NASA, and I'm guessing it's Caitlin O'Connell over on that. Oh, looks like we might be keeping Yuga on the field. Oh no, it is Caitlin, Hoyt hanging out in that deep space.
Something that's really jumping out to me is how well Revo does as a bobble and hanging on to it.
Unbelievable.
Incredible control and concentration there. Rising Revolution does such a fantastic job of gaining maximum yards off the pole. Each and every, they waste no second of each and every play the second that pole is either caught or picked up. A strike cut now, and the big around throw to reset, approaching the sideline. Lots of space left, though. And back towards the middle, and a drop, a chance for Portland to get their first break of the evening.
Hannah Henkin sending
nice shot
to
at
Kelly
Hannah
Kerwin.
Henkin. Kelly Kerwin getting vertical on that one as well. A shot to the end zone. Hang up, this could be a 50-50, and the big sky with Rising coming down with the disc.
That's Caitlin O'Connell going up for it, coming down strong. NASA also in the mist, and Elizabeth Mosquera making them make a play.
The captain coming through big for the first break of the evening for Portland Rising, and just like that, it's a three-point game. We were just talking about how quickly these can swing, and a couple of huge plays in a row off some great sweltering defense from Portland Rising.
I've got goosebumps right now, Ross.
I can feel it. It's exciting.
Or maybe it's cooling down up here, maybe.
I really hope it's a combination of the both. It's an evening for water on the sidelines and in the broadcast booth.
Sarah Judd choosing to make a play. Caitlin O'Connell finishing it.
And the focus to go up over two other players on the field there. And trusting your own athleticism to be able to go up, make that play, and come down strong, controlling the Frisbee. An absolutely incredible play there from O'Connell.
Caitlin O'Connell is technically Rising's tallest player. We call her 5'10 and a half. Used every half inch of that.
Let me tell you, that half inch,
it counted.
It pays off on plays like that. The pull now on the way to Revolution Pro. They pick up, gaining yards quickly. Nearing the center field. Quick reset now. Streaking downfield, and the big shot on the way, coming up a little short, and the big D for number 44, Adele Pitsis. Rising now with a chance for another break. Could make this a 2-point game if they're able to march it down the field. A turn there back into the hands of Revo now. Number 1, Lee Gu floating that one up there. A second shot to the end zone, falling just within the hands.
And so get to continue the possession. It counts.
And it counts. So in those situations, as we were talking about before, except for the fourth quarter where there's that buzzer beater situation, the team on offense gets to continue their possession until there's either a score or a turnover. And that can come from either a D, or just a turf disc going out of bounds.
All right, so first quarter, 7-3 Portland. That's a lot of points on the board. But I think we saw a marked difference in the Rising team after that timeout. A willingness to make plays, you know, much less tentative, going after it.
Absolutely, and certainly saw a couple of big plays coming out of that as well. A couple of highlights from some of the amazing plays we've seen in the first half. We'll be right back after this break. And welcome back to Portland, Maine for this matchup between Revolution Pro and Portland Rising here as part of the Premier Ultimate League International Championship Series. This broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. An exciting first quarter of play right now with Revolution up 7-3. And this being Rising's first official game as part of the Premier Ultimate League. A quick tune-up last week against New York. Saw some fantastic things on both sides of the disc. Some smothering offense, some exciting defense.
Rising with an O-line out there. You've got Kate Powers on the left, Yuga Shao, Lizzie Laurie, Olivia Hampton, Catherine K. Cole, Josie Gillette, and Erin Ray looking to put another point on the board.
K. Cole and Lizzie Laurie, two players who've had some pretty impressive highlights, especially in that tune-up game against New York last week. A fresh 12 on the clock to start the second quarter.
I apologize. I think I said it was 10-minute quarters early on, and it is 12. So 2 more minutes per quarter to make plays.
The clock never lies. Broadcasters get things wrong. Graphics rarely do.
You know, I will mention we did have a Columbia player in that Rising starting lineup that we saw at the beginning. So we're 1-1 right now.
That's the rare occurrence right there.
The exception that proves the rule.
Precisely. Portland a chance to chip away a little bit here.
Looks like we might be switching ends of the field. Just an extra tempo run in here.
A couple of quick high fives on the way out. That's all right. They figured we're not doing enough running tonight. Let's get a few yards of jogging in. Can't hurt. Get the steps up.
Speaking of running, want to give a shout out to Beyond Strength, Rising's home gym and Maine's premier physical fitness center. They offer everything from athletic training to injury rehab, boot camps, and more. And Beyond Strength also provides Rising's athletic training services. So we have Pete and Antonio down on the field tonight, taking care of our athletes. All that tape you see, making sure they're ready to play their best.
So many great local partners supporting Pro Ultimate here in Portland, Maine. All right, kicking off the second quarter here, the PUL coming down towards Portland Rising. Right now they're in their home whites this evening. They pick up a few yards out from their own end zone. Lizzie Laurie with the disc. A shot to the middle now.
Yuga Shah, one of the lefties. That's a play you can't make as a right hand. Ooh.
Oh, the foot block coming up for Revolution. Revolution Pro will pick up about 10 yards out from center field. Pushing it out. Ooh, on a hard fall there.
Ooh.
There maybe is an injury called now. The Rising player down. Getting up now. It's number 3, Catherine Cole.
I think it's Kate Powers.
Kate Powers.
A tough one from height. Hopefully.
A difficult landing. Got number 14, Hannah Baranis, coming in. Backing up to the spot of the injury. And we're back. A good switch there to prevent the deep look. Revolution now. Despite some very good defense from Rising, they've had a lot of success in front of their own end zone. Lots of patience with the disc. Not looking for their first, second, or even third options.
Oof.
Oh, and the big D, and now streaking downfield is Rising with a chance to go out on a break.
That's Hannah Paranis making an immediate impact and some quick running with the disc now.
Lizzie Laurie now on the sideline. Getting forced to the middle, so in theory, lots of space to work with, but Revolution doing a good job mucking up a lot of those in-cuts in the center of the field. A shot now to the end zone, hooking back towards the sideline. A huge play there.
It's Yuga Shao with the huck to Josie Gillette, finishing it with style, that high release to Erin Ray. Fans love that one. That's cheeky. That's style. That's style ultimate.
I mean, in an absolutely incredibly highlight fashion, too, going up, keeping the feet in on the sideline, looking directly to the end zone, thinking score immediately after coming down with that. Take another look at that D there. Number 24, Rachel Kramer.
I'm not sure I've ever seen Josie Gillette downfield for the Huck reception like that. She's thrown so many. She's famous for it. Bates College, Donovan Award winner, best player in D3 of her year. You know, just really celebrate for what she does behind the disc, and then we're seeing what she does a little bit on the receiving end.
Making the jump from being an iconic college player here in the state of Maine and across the country to now being one of the premier players at the professional level. The pull now on the way. Revolution leads 7-4 against Portland Rising here with about 10 minutes and 23 seconds to play in the second quarter. Revolution immediately thinking end zone. Ooh, and finding it. Number 14, Alejandra Urebe.
Evie Clement, fingertips. You gotta wish for that extra half inch on that one.
Could feel it go by, and the quick trigger from Revolution there, now doubling the points put up on the board by Rising so far. It's 8-4 the advantage. That's the quickest point we've seen all night.
It is highly efficient.
That speaks, if anything, to the defense we've seen on both sides of the disc as well. And let's take a moment to thank some of our Rising sponsors. LL Bean. Folks at LL Bean believe the more time you spend outside, the better. That's why they design products like Rising's Team Adventure Duffel Bag that makes it easier to take longer walks, have deeper talks, and never worry about the weather. Thank you to LL Bean for your support of Portland Rising and Professional Ultimate here in Portland, Maine.
LL Bean, one of the iconic Portland companies. Rising, and I'm very excited to be able to partner with them right off the bat. Portland, I should say Freeport, Maine. We all know they're in Freeport.
It's Maine. The Big Boot.
I think the Big Boot's actually going to be at the game on Sunday.
Is it the mobile boot?
If you don't have your ticket yet.
The F-150 boot? Whenever I have family visit, that's always a big moment. Good attempt on the layout there, but just falling out of the hands for the turn. Revolution now picking up, looking for another break. Stall count getting high, able to get the reset now.
There's Alex Odie on the mark. And again, super dynamic. And it's still not enough.
And it's still not enough. And Rising doing everything they can to make it difficult. It's number 32, Int'l Maja. Pulling it home in the end zone there for Revolution Pro. 9-4 right now, the advantage. And Mosquera leaving her mark all over this game. On defense, on the disc, in the air. Really contributing in every imaginable way right now. Also getting some big pulls.
Maja, originally from Venezuela and playing with the team from Medellin, Colombia, says the honor of representing Venezuela in the entire Latin American ultimate community, something that means a lot to her, likes to show that it can be done with a lot of determination and discipline, and scoring goals, I'm sure she'd add to the list.
And coming here to the U.S. to compete with both on the club level and the pro level now with the Premier Ultimate League. This team making an enormous splash. The pull now coming from Rising. They look to re-center their offense.
Easy 1-2, streaking up the sideline to...
All right, lots of space, looking downfield. Highlight play coming up and galloping, not quite in the end zone, but plenty of time to recover, and there it is. That's the one you hold your breath for.
You know, we talked about the defense being the story of the first quarter, but these are a couple quick ones coming in now. Not a lot of defensive players in sight.
They are. Emily Bacher getting the score there. And you got to wonder how much of that is the heat, the humidity, maybe some fresh legs just to start the game, and that defense starts to have a few holes punched into it the further that we get into this game.
So that's Aaron Ray throwing to Yuga Shao.
Yuga Shao.
Potent combination. And Olivia Hampton setting it up. Hearing cascading "nice run, Aaron" cheer from the crowd. I mean, they're not wrong.
Not wrong at all, and lots of space on that one. That one looked like it was pre-designed. The pole now on the way to Revolution. They lead 9-5.
Got a little cup, but it seems like it got broken there.
And the quick offense, making it difficult for the cup to keep its shape. Tightening up now. Able to get the reset to a popper now, and a shot up the sideline. Wow! The layout there from number 42, that's Leaf Volchek. Her second score of the night. Galloping down the field, falling onto the weak side shoulder, able to keep control of the disc as they crashed into the ground. Rising trying a little bit of a zone there.
I mean, that's Leaf just making sure. Insurance tumble there.
Not an easy way to hold on to the disc, and Revolution doing a really good job taking advantage of that space upfield after some pretty quick movement between the handlers there, breaking up some of that cup defense. About 8 minutes, 49 seconds left to play here in the second quarter of action. And this broadcast brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. You can hear in the background there the crowd here getting involved, getting excited. So much great energy around this team in the Maine and greater New England Ultimate community.
You know, we've got a family in the stands today from Colorado. Be interested to see if anyone else has traveled further than Revolution to be here.
Rising, some quick offense, working it up the sideline, towing the line to keep it in. And just stepping out is number 11, Josie Gillette. Revolution will pick up and go the other way, looking to extend their lead to 6. Right now they hold the lead 10-5. Quick reset for Revolution, swing back to the middle now.
You know, Revolution, a team really known for their tic-tac, small spaces, you know, quick passes anyone can handle, anyone can cut type of play. And I think we've been seeing that a lot at the beginning of points, but then it really has slowed down many of these offensive, you know, looking for something that's open. And, you know, it's been 2 years since we've seen PUL competition, but I'm interested to see if they find even more of that, like, small ball pace as we move forward today.
I think they do a fantastic job of using those smaller cuts, especially either the resets or the smaller, you know, 5-6 yard streaks up, and you turning immediately and looking to make those, not necessarily the big 40-yard hucks downfield, but getting 10, 15 at a time. They've found themselves in great position because they always take advantage of the pull to advance 10 to 15 yards each time. And before you know it, they get a few of those quick little cuts in, and they're on the doorstep of the end zone. And Rising's done a great job of, for the most part, taking away a consistent deep option.
Also noticing a lot of calm from the Revo handlers or anyone with the disc. It's not a lot of pivot, not a lot of fakes. It's just waiting for something to develop. Mosquera, I see, just waiting for the teammate to come to her.
And Mosquera making some big plays in the air tonight so far. And a big D coming up for Rising.
Taken away by Josie Gillette, another of those high release flicks to get out. And then Yuka Shao making sure on a low one from K. Cole. Making sure and then making a play, sending Aaron Ray down. And Mosquera gets the ball on that one.
Just as we were talking about Mosquera in the air on the other end of the disc, coming up with a big defensive play there and a timeout called. That timeout called by Revolution. It is a 70-second timeout. It seems like a fantastic opportunity to thank more of our rising partners like Girl Scouts of Maine. Girl Scouts of Maine is beyond proud to support Portland Rising. Before they were Ultimate Legends, many team members were Girl Scouts, and they are the groundbreaking role models that girls need today. Girl Scouts of Maine builds girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. Join or volunteer today at www.girlscoutsofmaine.org. That's girlscoutsofmaine.org. Timeout comes to a close, taking another look at that D down here, stuffing it on the end zone for Rising and setting up an opportunity to move further down the field. Right now, Rising looking to keep this one within striking distance. They're still there, lots of ultimate left to be played. And we've seen them get a few real quick points tonight. The break throw now. Big fake. Opening up some space in the middle for Revolution. There are some of those 4 or 5 yard in cuts that we've seen that, when you tack them up all together, have been lethal so far this evening.
Nicole Canning, you see on the mark there, number 28. This is her first day back to game speed. Had a pretty serious ankle sprain, I think about 6 or 7 weeks ago, and has just been rehabbing, working with Beyond Strength Pete, trying to do everything possible to get back on the field.
There's some of that patience from the Revolution handlers we've been talking about, but a bobble, and that just D'd down, making sure there is Rising.
Chloe Rouse with the D, now with the disc, looking for something to develop.
Rouse looking for the reset now and gets it.
Oh. And looks like we're going to have a call on that one.
A foul call, looks like.
Lauren Bacher with the disc, one of 2 sisters on the team, Lauren and Emily, both handling on the D-line most of the time for Portland Rising.
Chloe Rouse now looking around and another call made.
Looks like we've got a pick on the field. Can't intentionally run your player, or can't even accidentally run your player into someone else as long as they're within 10 feet of you.
For you basketball players out there, no pick and roll, no Syracuse offense, unfortunately. And a timeout called by Rising here.
Guessing this is one of those opportunities where the coaches are going to try and sub in a new line, put a play together, make sure.
And a great opportunity here with exactly 5 minutes left on the clock in the second to cut this to 4. We've seen some, despite the 10 points up on the board for Revolution, we have seen some truly fantastic defense from Rising. It's just been even better offense from Revolution. So the opportunity here to get a quick score, turn around and try to get another stuff and score. This game's still well within Rising's reach. And more of our Rising partners this evening, Maine Ultimate. Maine Ultimate's mission is to foster and grow the sport of Ultimate in Maine. Maine Ultimate has invested in our community here since 2012, and it's safe to say that Portland Rising would not exist today without them. Thank you for your support, Maine Ultimate.
As expected, we see a shift in the line here. We've got a more offensive-focused line. Kay Cole picking up the disc.
Back to Kay Cole now. Swings it to the sideline. Rising now about 15 yards out from the end zone. And another violation called. Looks like there's a pick on the field. Rising in a vertical stack offense right now. Number 26, Rachel Westgate with the disc. Swings it back to the center.
You're seeing these cuts develop downfield, and there's just not an inch between Rising and the Rev defender. Rachel Westgate got end zone eyes, looking for something.
Good patience there from Westgate, though. That was not there. Excellent job holstering that throw. Oh, big layout there to keep it alive from Kay Cole.
On the doorstep. Looks like we have another pick. Everyone getting a little jumpy as we're right on the doorstep.
Cade Cole's going to be scanning left to right here, about 5.5 yards up from the end zone, and the big hammer up top. Wow! What a grab from number 26, Rachel Westgate, to pull that one home, tripping over the Revolution defender, but having the fantastic ability to hold on tight to that disc and pull it in. It's now 6-10. Revolution's lead. Rising putting another point up on the board there with an exciting hammer over the top from Cade Cole.
Yeah, that's a big decision from Cade Cole. I just watched it again.
She
just
was
floats.
Looking at that the entire time that they were settling up that pick violation as well. Communication through the eyes there. Can't even read lips with the players wearing their masks this evening. So all in the eyes there, teammates trusting each other. Immediately as that disc is tapped in, he was leaving her hands over the top.
Cade Cole, we know her to be very creative with the disc. Her favorite throw, a big old backhand, but ripping out the hammer there, the upside down.
The big opposite side hammer's got to be a second favorite.
Spent a lot of time in the New York scene, playing with New York Bent and the Feminists at the club level. A native of New Gloucester, Maine, but currently in the Boston area. Proud to be playing for her home state.
And a great point there, the Rising players not just coming from the city of Portland or even all of Maine, players coming from all over the country and currently living all throughout the greater New England area as well. Revolution picks up on offense here. The disc in the center of the field now, working their way towards the far sideline. Able to hang on to the big around throw. And a fresh reset, and immediately a shot downfield. Looks Blady, and that's the D from number 27 with Rising. Sarah Judd, SJ.
Smacking it away. Kind of came right to her breadbasket there.
It did, but still, though, you know, the awareness to turn around, immediately identify the disc, get the hands up, and knock it down. The reset now for Rising.
Reset falling apart a little bit.
Ooh, and then opportunity for a Callahan. Not quite. Revolution now just inches away from the end zone, and a little bit too trigger happy there. Rising dodging a bullet.
Gina Cartagena with the big D, and then just floating something up for a player who wasn't going to the same spot.
The strike cut here. A little bit of handler movement now for Rising. The big swing to the opposite side to gain some yards, and here comes the shot downfield. Rising is tracking, and that's number 24, Rachel Kramer, with the incredible full extension grab, now just inches out from the end zone.
So calm on the score. That's a big one. Evie Clement with the huck to NASA, and then just standing there waiting for her teammate to get open in the end zone.
I mean, me in the booth here, I'm not calm enough after watching that play to come up and confidently make that little shovel throw. Wow. One hand, full extension, calmness and confidence coming up with the disc.
Just a day of business for NASA.
Just the business, nothing but the business, and then finding the teammate, Hannah Baranis, in the end zone. Rising's got 7 on the board now. They trail by just 3 points after going down as much as 5 here in the second quarter. About 2 minutes and 28 seconds to play before halftime.
I know that's a traditional D-line. I think that's a break.
That is a break. The third of the evening for Rising. Who's counting? Not me, clearly. We're still working on the statistician. I think I'm safe to say it's feeling notably cooler than it was in the first quarter at this point, although the screen in front of me still tells me that it's 82 degrees in Portland right now.
Sun's almost gone. We've got some flashes of red across the trees beyond the field where Rising's playing tonight, Fitzpatrick Stadium.
Playing right next door to Hadlock Field, the home of the Red Sox minor league affiliate, the Portland Sea Dogs. That pull sailing a little bit out of bounds, just about 20 yards past midfield. Rising will pick up in the center. And this broadcast is once again brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. Disc is tapped in. Solid in cut for Revolution here. Revo Pro now moving it back to the middle.
That's Manji Ferrero with that little inside backhand dish.
Ooh, coming just out of reach
for Sarah Judd.
SJ. And not quite in with the feet, but finding number 57 there in the end zone. That's Jimena Montana.
Manji Ferreira, certainly one of the elite throwers of the game. Played 10 nationals so far. Last 5 is one with Revo, and is also very proud to receive Spirit of the Game awards. But you know, when you talk about number 96, you're talking about throws.
We see it right there, putting it only where her teammate can reach it. A quick team conference here for Revolution. They lead 11-7 with about 2 1/4 to play in the second quarter right now. And we'd like to thank everyone watching all across the world, and thank you for tuning into the 2021 PUL Championship International Series. And a special thanks to all the fans who are here in person tonight. If you're enjoying this YouTube stream of the game, consider donating the cost of a ticket to the PUL. Links are available here on the live stream and on the PUL's website. That is premierultimateleague.com/donate. Lizzie Laurie here for Portland Rising. Rising now at midfield, looking to close the lead to 3. Right now they trail 4 with under 2 minutes to play in the second quarter. Ooh, great hands there with Rising. Laurie faking the shot upfield.
Hampton to Cole, little quick movement out to Ray.
K. Cole punching it up to Ray there, now on the doorstep of the end zone, and the cheeky little throw.
8-11. You remember when it was 6-1?
I remember when it was 6-1. I remember when it was 10-5. And I was telling you that there was plenty of Ultimate left to play.
Not your first Ultimate game.
Not my first Ultimate game. And the second of many Rising games to come. Look at this, the fake, taking advantage of that backside space, floating right up there.
That is dirty, Aaron.
Only K. Cole can find it. And the hard run downfield from K. Cole as well after connecting on a 15-yarder just seconds before. A 3-point game right now, lots of Ultimate left to go in this tight one between Revolution Pro and Rising. And seeing these players connect like that shows how much progress they've made despite the obstacles that have been in their way for actually getting together and playing Ultimate with each other, even being able to toss around. Something that for the first year this team was in existence was only possible in very limited capacity. Revolution immediately thinking shot downfield now, an amazing sky going up.
Ospina.
That's number 7, Laura Ospina. Ospina now swinging it to the sideline. Ooh, and the D falling just out of reach of Rising there. That's number 42. 44.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's okay. That was I believe that was number 42, Leaf Valchek.
You're right. I was focused on the missed but close defensive bid from number 44 on Rising, Adele Pitsis.
As general manager, I think you're allowed to focus on White right now. That's okay. Just under a minute to play here in the second quarter. It's a 4-point game. Revolution Pro leading 8-12.
Cartagena just calm as ice with the disc.
And Laura Ospina making the big grab there. And good patience, not immediately thinking end zone, but instead finding the reset, giving her teammates time to set up on offense.
Rising has a lot of respect for the talents and expertise on the roster as well as in the coaching staff, and so has put together some player demonstrations, Zoom teach-ins, that kind of thing, and Adele taught one on layouts. So I think you can see in the form that didn't get the disc, but that's how you want to be doing it.
Mine need a whole lot of work, so I'm going to have to check that out. Rising now looking to go about 60 yards to punch this one in.
Cutter's really far downfield to start that point, like 40 yards from Handler.
Ooh, and the nice grab up top. Oh, and falling just out of the hands of Rising's number 27 SJ, Sarah Judd. Judd will go on the mark now, but another timeout called by Revolution. And let's take a moment to thank some of our Rising partners, like Main Movement, a husband and wife team with a passion for health, wellness, and having fun. Main Movement helps you stay active in whatever way you enjoy. To them, an active lifestyle means being pain-free and having the energy you need to reach your goals. They offer a full range of services, including bodywork, personal training, and nutrition coaching that spans an entire life cycle of healthy living. And their clients come from all ages and backgrounds. So if you're looking to eliminate pain, develop a training program tailored to your specific needs and goals, or help make better nutritional choices, they're here to help. You can find Main Movement on Instagram, Facebook, and at mainmovement.com. That's mainmovement.com.
Main Movement made up of Jared and Jesse Jondro, just huge assets to the Rising team throughout the whole pandemic, pivoting, teaching us breath work via Zoom, giving us at-home workouts when it was safe to get back in the gym, mask distance. Actually, you know what we did? We did workouts in the parking lot outside the gym. It's Maine in February. Salt on the ground, slush on the ground. We had yoga mats and kettlebells and just did what we could. So thank you, Main Movement.
The folks at Main Movement very passionate about Ultimate. Got to play a lot with them this summer myself, and can tell you they were as excited as anyone to have Rising be taking part in their inaugural season this summer. Revolution now with the disc at about center field. And a violation called. A pick looks like. So now clock has expired. What that means is Revolution needs to either score, or as soon as there's a turnover with either a D, the disc hitting the ground, or sailing out of bounds, the half will come to an end. Revolution now. And what appears to have been a drop, an accidental drop to end the half. Perhaps a misunderstanding of the clock there, but so it goes, and now we head into half with the score 12-8. The lead for Revolution Pro right now. It's been a very exciting first half of action we've seen. Rising trailed by as many as 5 points in this one. Taking a look from a little bit earlier this evening, the focus, the calm to go up despite the bobble, holding on to it. Mesquera has made her mark all over this game, not just with big plays in the air like that, the throws, the defense, the pulls everywhere. And then Rising getting it done on defense as well. Rising showing excellent composure as well, clawing their way back into this one to make it a 4-point game at half. Right now it is 12-8.
In New England, we are resilient. It takes hard work, and determination to earn respect. Sometimes it takes decades. And it always takes someone being on your side. Because true greatness doesn't just happen.
Rising coach and Lightbody to talk about what happened in the first half. And Revo went up 6-1, pulled it back to 12-8 halftime score. What was working that pulled the team back and got Rising really connecting on the offensive end?
Well, we took a key timeout at 6-1 just to get our heads in the game. Our players have always seen space really well, and being able to catch the disc has really helped us be able to march it forward. Our D has been strong all game, although we've made a few adjustments in terms of taking away the overs to taking away the unders a little bit more, and I think that's really allowed us to move down and start to get some of those breaks back.
As we're seeing this halftime show on the court, the LL Bean boot throwing challenge, Rising, considering going into halftime, coming out into the second half, what are you looking to change, keep the same to go get the win?
We're looking to build on our success coming out of the end of the first half and just keep going strong with that going into the third quarter.
Cool, I'll let you get back to the team. Thank you, Ann.
All right, and welcome back here to halftime. And this matchup between Revolution Pro and Portland Rising is part of the Premier Ultimate League International Championship Series. Right now, Revolution Pro leading 12-8 at half. We're back with more Premier Ultimate League action just a few minutes after this quick break.
What makes design unique? That uniqueness is innovation. My name is Ebenezer Akako, or a native of Ghana. Growing up, my dad was an architect. Maybe that is where it all started. As part of wanting to be an architect, I attended Ghana Secondary Technical School. I also got extremely intrigued by technical drawing. When I graduated, my dad was like, I think you should go into jewelry making. And for a second, I was like, wait a minute, jewelry making? I mean, what is that? First time I went to the jewelry shop, the manager had a degree in jewelry making from the university, looking like a doctor. I was like, wow, this is actually cool. My dad decided to send me out to Italy to study jewelry design and stone setting. It opened the next level of design, the next level of thinking about symmetry, about thinking of, even though it is handmade, there has to be a level of precision. When I was also in Italy, I got advantage to attend a show in Munich, Germany called Int'l. It was there that I actually saw firsthand how technology was going to revolutionize design in general. We have these symbols in my native country, Ghana, that are being underutilized. So my whole goal was, how do I take these visual language symbols and elevate them into our modern culture and keeping the integrity of the symbol but still telling the story. That same story I see even in my work today. I see that by using the patterns to create coasters, earrings, pendants, cuffs, people look at them and they find their own story. They find their own voice. And that is what makes it complete. And it also makes me happy that I'm bringing this ancient language from my native country. Most of my customers have never been there, but they're able to find their own voice. And that voice is hidden in the pattern.
And welcome back. We are still at halftime here for this matchup between Revolution Pro and Portland Rising as part of the Premier Ultimate League's International Championship Series. This broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. We'd like to thank everybody watching all across the world right now, tuning into the 2021 PUL Championship Series International Tournament. A special thanks to all the fans who are here live in person in Portland, Maine. And if you're enjoying the YouTube stream of the game this evening, thank you as well. We'd like to ask you to please consider donating the cost of one ticket to the PUL. Links are available here in the live stream and on the PUL website. That is premierultimateleague.com/donate. One more time, that is premierultimateleague.com/donate. Lots of fun being had here on the field by some fans to get through halftime right now. And taking a look across the field right now, we look at Rising getting ready for their second half of play. Right now they're down 4, but this ain't even clawing back against a very tough Revolution Pro team right here. We've seen some incredible plays and some quick scores to make this a lot closer than it was. Rising starting this game down 6-1. Now clawing back within 4, and their offense really coming into form for parts of that half. We're back joined now by General Manager of Portland Rising, Maddie Purcell. Maddie, how you feeling? I ask you as you take a big bite of halftime Cliff Bar. We got to fuel up just like the players do for the broadcast. That's okay. Feel free to chew on that. both the thought and the Cliff Bar.
You were prepared for that one. Yeah, well, speaking of chewing, first of all, I want to give a shout out to LB Kitchen, fast casual restaurant serving healthy and progressive breakfast and lunch 7 days a week. They believe what we choose to eat matters and is our fuel for high performance as an athlete and in life. So grateful to have their support and their snacks on the sideline. So yes, I was feeling hungry. You know, this is just exciting Ultimate. We got a really good game on our hands. It's a privilege to get to watch it. Call it, and I hope everyone out there is enjoying it as much as we are.
We've seen some what I like to call Instagram highlight plays. It's funny, sitting up here in the press box, we hear every few minutes, oh, social, that's a good one. That's one for Instagram. And it's going to be a busy night in the feed tonight because lots of great highlight plays. We're talking some layout Ds, some fantastic plays through the air, cheeky around throws. It's been a lot of fun to watch.
Shout out to the Premier Ultimate League social team, really putting in the work on this one.
And we're having a lot of fun with them here this evening as well. You're watching this on the Premier Ultimate League's YouTube stream. And again, if you're enjoying this stream tonight, please consider donating the cost of a ticket to the PUL. Links are available right here in the live stream that you're watching and on the PUL website. That is premierultimateleague.com/donate. Rising going to be back to throw to kick off the second half of action. 12 minutes on the clock for the third quarter. Emily Bacher is going to be back to pull for Rising. And with the humidity tonight, definitely see some players wearing some gloves. A reminder that Layout gloves are the official gloves of the PUL and Portland Rising. Layout gloves provide unmatched grip and performance to help you up your game. Grab your pair of gloves at layoutultimate.com. That's layoutultimate.com. Saw Revo Pro taking a little bit of football in between the half there, having a little fun, getting some headers around on the field. Got to keep moving, keep active, don't want to tighten up during halftime, so seems like a great way to do it. Also a great way to have some fun. Rising starting this half on D. Looking for a break to close this to a 3-point game.
Emily Bacher with the disc, proud mom of 2, and had a day of the parenthood today, trying to even just get here for the game. Just a ton of respect for the people who are, you know, working and momming and putting the big plays together on the professional ultimate field.
A really diverse background of players here. Moms, working professionals, women working in tech, people working in tech, all kinds of professional backgrounds, folks right out of college, playing ultimate at all different kinds of levels between college and the various club circuits as well. The observers meeting right now with the coaching staff, it appears, coming towards center field. Coach is going to have a little huddle up with one of our observers this evening. Maddie, do you want to walk us through the observers, how those who maybe not so familiar with the game of Ultimate, how it's self-officiated, and what the exact role of the observers is in these game time situations?
Yeah, so a lot of Ultimate takes pride in, calling our own fouls, playing with integrity, playing hard, but not any cheap things, not pulling the jersey, not that kind of stuff that you see in a lot of the other, I came up with soccer and basketball. You're trying to do what the rest can't see. Here, you're trying to play your best without taking it out on someone else. But there are those plays where you just can't see it, too. So the observers are there to call, did you toe the line? Was that catch in or out of the end zone?
And, of course, in the heat of competition, no players trying to take an unfair advantage when there's a close call. They may think they were in. A player on the other team with a different perspective may have thought that toe was just out, and the observer's there to help square things like that away so everybody can keep that spirit of the game high and move on, and there's a neutral third party there to essentially break the tie.
Exactly, yeah. And, they know the rule book. They are impartial observers. Tonight we have Sam Scherer, Malika Smoot, and Frank Wang holding down our observer crew. Thank you very much to our observer crew out there for apparently clearing up some confusion. The second time this has happened this game of players lining up on the wrong side of the field. So glad we got that squared away. Rising now back to PUL to kick off the second half of action as we enter the third quarter here in this matchup of the Premier Ultimate League. That side of the game thing matters a ton if it's super windy, something like that. Just going down to be by the field, talking to Coach Lightbody, it's a gorgeous night. Pretty still, not a lot of wind, probably not a lot of advantage either side of the field right now.
We had similar conditions for that tune-up game against New York last week as well, so you got to be happy with some amount of consistency, which is usually the opposite of what we can expect from a New England forecast. So we'll take what we can get here.
You're not wrong. Fingers crossed we're not going to see any, what would you call it, inconsistencies tomorrow.
Inconsistencies tomorrow? I'll check with the meteorologists.
It's like we had a call a minute ago. Players around the disc hadn't heard it yet.
If you see players put their hands up in the air like they're starting the YMCA, that is a V for violation.
Got Angel Carolina with the disc marked by Adele Pitsis, figuring out what the stall is coming on. You have 10 seconds to move the disc. Player marking calls the stall out. It's a turnover if you don't throw it in time.
Pitsis with the hard mark around, forcing up the sideline there. Right now, Rising has, and another violation called out back. Looks like that's coming from further up the field. Observer checking in. They'll typically give about 10 seconds for the players to work it out before coming in, but it looks like one of the players asked them to step on quickly and get things back on the road. All right, back in play now. A look-up line here from Revolution. And a shot to the end zone. And jamming it up the sideline for the score. That's number 7, Laura Ospina.
I mean, that's a little too easy. You got to know if the force is there. That's the open cut, and Revo just using a quick step to get by the defenders. Pretty easy punch into the end zone there.
When you get that close to, it doesn't take much space, especially when these players can be so precise with each one of their throws, putting it exactly where only their teammates can reach it. Just beat up line by half a step there. A fantastic cut from Ospina to get open. And talking about the conditions there, it does make sense that we're seeing so many points getting put up on the board right now, especially when basically all offense is fair game. You know, a lot of times we'll get some of those strong crosswinds or blowing down the field one way or the other, and that can really limit scoring to just one side of the disc. And pretty even no matter which way it's going. We've seen the disc bounce back and forth to both end zones, so reflecting the conditions here in Portland, Maine tonight. A humid night, but not a bad night to be playing some Ultimate. Revolution back to receive now.
Yeah, this is Rising.
Rising back to receive in their home whites.
Home whites, home field. Done a lot of practicing on this field, and most of those practices, it has been a wind tunnel. So they're probably, you know, wishing that their practice in the wind paid off a little more, but grateful for the nice throwing conditions too.
K. Cole completing the swing there. Couple moments there with the stall count getting a little bit high. Rising looking to initiate their offense, and a violation called there.
You could see it 5 cuts before it happened. Everyone just stacked not quite clean. People trying to start cuts, running into someone else.
Everyone a little bit bunched up can certainly make it hard to initiate any of that efficient offense there. Rising now on the doorstep, a bladey throw hanging in the air, and the dominance in the air once again, swatting that one away from what could have been a beautiful scoring opportunity.
Mosquera really an elite field reader. You know, uses knowledge of the game, experience, and just that sense of knowing where the disc is going to be before it gets there.
And a gift here for Rising, a quick turnover immediately, an uncharacteristic quick turn for Revolution, who's been very efficient and very patient with the disc tonight. Close to the pylon now. The big shot around, hanging out there just out of reach though. Revolution will pick up going the other way.
Jersey Gillette looking to make something creative happen. One of those things fires you up if it happens, just overshoots Cape Powers.
Lizzie Laurie on the mark here. Violation called upfield. Another pick. Oh, an injury called. We do have a Rising player down right now. Back to their feet now. Number 19, Olivia Hampton. She seems to be all right. Went down for a few seconds there, talking it over with
Manji Ferrero. Looks like no call.
No call. All right. Disc tapped back in. We've seen those quick swings from Revolution all night. It opens up their offense, especially going downfield. It opens up for opportunities just like this. And Revolution just like that, back on the doorstep again. And turn. Portland will now pick up and try to march all the way downfield, looking to close this gap again. Quick breath, walk into the disc. Centering now. Lizzie Laurie with the disc close to their own end zone. Nice little 8-yard shot up. Another now. Wow, nice grab there.
K. Cole, that's the big old backhand we were talking about.
It's hanging up.
Not big enough, that one. Got to go bigger next time.
Another D for Mascara. Another turn from Revolution there, looking to gain about 30 going up the sideline, but just out of reach. Both teams here looking to take a breath, recenter their offense. We've seen a handful of throws now get a little bit out of reach, a little bit trigger happy here entering the second half. Laurie with the fake up the middle now, looking for a reset. Stall count getting high. Oh, and the layout, the big layout there from Kay Cole. And now she takes a shot towards the end zone, hanging up there for a wide open Olivia Hampton to end a long point on an impressive score for Portland Rising. It's now 13-9.
That's our first real battle points, you know, like unforced errors, legs looking a little tired.
Especially some of those violations called. You see the players start to hang forward onto their knees a little bit, and who can blame them? Lots of running on a point like that as well, and a few frustration throws for sure. But watch this. How about this incredible layout from Kay Cole? Certainly one of the leaders on offense in a situation like that, sacrificing the body to make the play, then coming up, having the confidence to immediately look ahead, and everyone, I think, a little happy to be walking off for, say, a cold drink and some fresh air after that one. And Hampton staying on field after that one, after going down, getting a little bumped up. No call made on it, but able to regather herself and find herself wide open downfield for the score to end that long point. All right, Rising pulling now to Revolution Pro.
See the disc racing the car on the highway down the field that time?
Right here on the side of Interstate 95, the main turnpike, as we call it here in the great state of Maine. A little bit of an overcommitment there from Rising on the D, but no harm, no foul. Looks like Rising will get the chance to pick up at their own end zone and try to march it all the way down and punch it home. The opportunity to make this a 3-point game with a break here. We've seen Revolution lead by as many as 5. Emily Bacher to start the offense. Bacher looking up the middle, and an immediate pickoff right there. Revolution now on the doorstep. And there's the score there for Revolution Pro. Big hug in the end zone. That is Leaf Valchek scoring again, her third of the evening. A lot of love on the field for this Revolution team that travels the globe and has truly become one of the premier teams in both high-level club and professional ultimate.
Yeah, so Revolution's a you know, we talked about their longevity, 20-plus years
20-plus years, and incredible longevity there, too.
And so what they've done is they've now differentiated into several different teams. This is Revo Pro we're seeing tonight. They have the club back home. They have development programs. No one gets cut from Revolution. They find ways to develop all of their players and grow them into what you can see are clearly some elite top talents.
As we were talking, going through the opening lineups today, truly some of the top players in the world. You cannot go through your ideal starting line without mentioning some of these players. Revolution boasting a lot of talent here in the Premier Ultimate League. The pull now on the way to Rising, hanging up, skirting back towards the end zone.
Anytime you're pulling 80-plus yards, you're pretty happy with that. Looks like a straight-up mark, taking away the middle of the field, but finds one through to Alex Odie. They hit the sideline on a big huck.
Big huck, that one cutting back down just a little bit. Ooh, and some contact going up. Looks like a foul's being called by number 14, Hannah Baranis.
Saw some nods. Pretty sure that might be an uncontested.
Yep. Looks like a non-contest there. A socially distant show of respect between the two players. And an opportunity for Rising here to punch it home. Looking upfield there to number 5, Kay Cole. She's been all over the offense tonight. Now streaking up the field to her teammate, number 17, Kelsey Devlin, for the score. Portland on the board with 10. They trail by 4 to Rev Pro. Nothing too fancy about that, just a fantastic strike cut to the open side. Plenty of space for the lightning quick Devlin.
And then that's touch. Kay Cole just letting the disc sit there, wait for Kelsey to get there.
I'd like to take a moment to thank some of our Rising partners this evening. Sawyer Island Consulting. At Sawyer Island Consulting, we have a passion for people and impactful relationships. We engage with our partners through guidance, investment, and collaboration. Portland Rising and their mission to work in partnership with the community to dream big and rise together is a perfect example of the talented, inspiring entrepreneurs we love to support. Thank you for your support, Sawyer Island Consulting.
You are seeing some high energy support on the stands tonight. We've got a pretty packed house. Brought the signs, brought the jerseys. Everyone is in fine form and not done with this game yet.
Not at all. We're here at Fitzgerald Stadium in Portland. Of course, Portland home to such a vibrant Ultimate community for so long. Even getting involved with the community myself within the last year or so. People so excited. People just could not stop talking about the inaugural season of Rising, and we're seeing that here. Folks bringing their own signs, lots of chants for hearing from the crowds, lots and lots of fun. It's an atmosphere you truly got to be here to fully experience.
You mentioned the inaugural season. We, in talking with sponsors and all these community partners.
Ooh, the big layout there for Revolution Pro to keep this possession alive.
Been calling this our second inaugural season.
The second inaugural season.
Didn't quite happen the first time around.
Inauguration part 2. It happens.
Cardenas with the disc, but it looks like we've got a stoppage over on the sideline. Rolls it to get there.
An accurate blade.
That's someone who has spent a lot of time with the disc in her hands.
An effective pull under the right situation with a throw like that. You know, the mental toughness it takes for a team, though, to be able to power through a global pandemic, not being able to train the way that you've always trained, not being able to practice the way you've always practiced. Most of these players, many of them have competed against each other, but not necessarily played with each other at many levels, and building that chemistry best you can. It truly is a testament to mental toughness of this Rising team.
We're seeing the Revo players really scouring the field, looking for the play that's developing and the play that's about to develop as they get
just inches away here from the end zone. We've seen really great end zone defense and a beautiful cut, shaking the defender and moving, just towing into the end zone there.
That's Gina Cartagena, you know, someone who will find the teammate making that cut, but is not afraid to make it herself. And you can see, I mean, all the young Ultimate players watching want to learn how to shake your defender free as a handler, as someone in a tight space. You got to charge the way that you're trying to sell that cut and wait for the hips to turn until you cut back where you actually want to go.
And the hard stomp with the cleat to create just enough space and power back the other way up the line. Gina Cartagena, the first time we've seen them in the end zone this evening, but she has definitely made her mark, especially. We've been talking a lot about the patience, the very chilly offense that we're seeing from Revolution Pro, and she's right at the center of all that.
And she has also brought her talents to New York Bent for the club season this year in a first, which Bent has got to be thrilled about, really be interesting. We've seen a lot of crossover with some of the Colombian players going to Molly Brown, Valeria Cardenas going to Riot. This is an East Coast transplant, and be excited to see how that transpires this club season.
That pull falling into the hands of Kay Cole, a few steps back into the end zone now. Rising looking to initiate their offense. Right now down 5 to Revo Pro. 4 minutes and 51 seconds left to play in the third quarter.
Rising looking pretty clear this offensive possession. A little dinky backhand there, but then we're shooting.
And that's Lizzie Laurie making the incredible grab over the top in full stride.
Big left hand holding it up.
Laurie's got the size advantage over most players in the field here this evening. Laurie, one of the more experienced players on this Rising team as well, as a storied college player and club player as well.
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the ultimate families that most people have heard of. The Lauries from Colorado. So proud to have Lizzie playing with us here in Maine. But, you know, for experience on this roster, I think there's something like 11 players have represented U.S. national team, or we have a couple who played for Team Israel, you know, competing at the world's level and winning college championships, club championships. We've got a real mix.
And now using their talents to fill out this still new and emerging Premier Ultimate League, Pro Ultimate here, now having a home in Portland, Maine, and some top-level talent filling out that roster.
There's also some, you know, real homegrown players. Chloe Rouse, you see with the PUL, she's a Maine Ultimate product on that first Maine YCC's team. Started playing out on boys' teams. There weren't any girls' teams for her to compete with. Rising, actually, you should know, is a professional ultimate team, does not have a overarching gender identity. That's something the team has, you know, really worked hard to figure out, and figure out how we celebrate the identities of everyone on the team without having the team have a gender identity.
And the representation for gender identity, sexual identity, and racial identity has, of course, been a focus of the PUL so far this year as well. And since their inauguration, it has been one of their chief focuses.
Yeah, with some real work to do. I think the league started out in a gender equity focus, responding to some inequities that we were seeing across the scope of professional ultimate and at the highest levels, you know, who's being centered on that field. But in starting out that way, the league missed an opportunity at the beginning to center racial equity as core, because, you know, gender equity without racial equity is not going to get us there. It's just going to continue to benefit white women. So figuring out who this league is for, both in terms of a broader spectrum of gender, and obviously beginning to be more effective in centering racial equity, is something that the league has been putting a lot of work into. There's a anti-oppression training series that all teams are going through together this year, and with the intention that you can't make change without education, without community, without having a same page to start on. So really laying that groundwork, recognizing what we haven't done well in the past, what we have, or what we haven't done well in the past, and where our opportunities are going forward, to really build into the league that we believe it can be.
Revolution scoring on that last point there now as Portland picks up.
Got a front wall of three, chasing down our Rising's two handlers in the background. Lizzie Laurie with the disc. Kay Cole and Lizzie playing a two-person game. Getting out to the sideline, Olivia Hampton to Aaron Ray.
Ooh, and the tight throw there. Laurie looking deep now, streaking downfield. The layout falling just out of reach of number 26, Rachel Westgate. Goes full extension and just out of the fingertips. Can't activate stretchy arm mode right there quite yet. Haven't unlocked that power up yet.
Cartagena field generaling, picking up the disc.
Oh, and the nice D there, baiting that one.
Yuka Shao with the run through. Finding Josie Gillette, about 10 yards to go.
Gillette takes a bladey shot towards Lizzie Laurie in the end zone, scoring again.
And that's an interesting point. We got some new stuff in that one, huh?
Absolutely. We're getting some new names into the broadcast. We like it. Laurie left her mark all over the tune-up match against New York last week as well. Coming alive here in the second half, third quarter, about 3 minutes to play. Right now it's a 4-point game. Revolution Pro 16, Portland Rising 12. And this broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. All that starting with Yuka Shao's D as well. baiting it and then getting the big run through with plenty of time and momentum to look up to her teammates.
I want to give a shout out to one of Rising's sponsors, Kalo. It's a full spectrum water soluble hemp infused seltzer. Players have been enjoying as part of their post game meal, Sister Gourmet Deli sandwiches and Kalo hemp infused seltzer. They harness the full power of the hemp plant to bring you 8 carefully crafted flavors that taste good, feel good, and are good for you.
And they do taste good.
We've been enjoying some cold ones up in the booth.
It's been a warm day. Any liquid is fantastic at this point. And unseasonably, like even for August, unseasonably warm in Portland, Maine today. A good day to be playing at night under the lights.
See that Revo sideline, Mauricio Moore coaching the whole group as they are there. Looks like changing some things about the mark potentially to try to gum up Rising's offensive sets a little more.
Ooh, and a big collision there as Revolution Pro doing a good job taking advantage of the break side swings to gain a whole lot of space downfield. And the nice break side throw there again. Pretty much 100% of that offense for Revolution Pro, able to take advantage of those break sides with some big fakes, some clean cuts, and difficult throws as well. Just over 2 minutes left to play here in the third quarter. A little bit of a breeze starting to pick up here in Portland right now. Not too much that it'll probably won't impact the disc much at all, but never know when a stiff surprise New England breeze, especially so close to the seacoast here, might blow through.
Got a nice close-up of that Discraft sign in the background. Discraft, the official disc of the Premier Ultimate League, what we're playing with tonight. If there is any pickup in wind, you'll see it in how the disc flies.
175 grams, no more, no less. Mosquera back to PUL now. Some beautiful ones so far this evening. And it's on the way. Rising will pick up in the middle of the field, back towards their own end zone.
And looking like that coached up defense, we've got the cup now facing, and
sailing
it works.
Just overhead. A little bit of a surprise zone there, throwing Portland's in-cut offense a little bit out of whack.
Tight one from Josie Gillette. It was really played solid defense tonight. Taking away the around.
And just a little bit of space, but not quite into the end zone there.
For Leaf Volchek.
Leaf Volchek has found the end zone a handful of times tonight. And here's the patience that we've been talking about all night with Revolution. Not taking the first option there if it's close, really waiting for the play and then the next play to develop, just like right there. That throw coming from Mosquera again. Marks all over this game. In every facet, from defense to the throws to punching it home into the end zone right there. Right now it's a 6-point game. It's the largest lead that Revolution Pro's had so far tonight. 18-12, just about a minute 14 to play here in the third quarter. And we'd like to thank everybody who's watching from all across the world, tuning into this 2021 PUL Championship Series International Tournament. Special thanks to all the fans who are here in person tonight here in Portland, Maine at Fitzpatrick Stadium. And if you're enjoying the YouTube stream of this game, consider donating the cost of one ticket to the PUL. Links are available on the live stream and the PUL website. That is PremierUltimateLeague.com. Again, you can donate that at PremierUltimateLeague.com/donate. And the pull on the way once again, as Portland Rising looks to chip away at this growing lead from Revolution Pro.
You see that number 0 Lily Gu in the middle of the field facing away from the disc and just trying to intercept any cuts coming in, really stymieing up the under defense and not letting any connectivity happen between the Rising handlers and cutters right now.
And it's not necessarily your typical cup, it's almost more like that wall that we saw them throwing a little bit earlier. It's a little spread out and very much so taking away that open side and upfield throws, but a nice little around there from Kay Cole to find some space and swing things to the other side of the field. Now a shot further upfield. Rising now with a chance to score. The huge layout grab.
That's Yuga Shao trusting Aaron Ray to go and get it.
Aaron Ray hitting the turf there with a one-handed grab to pull Portland, Maine back within one. Yuga Shao with the nice floating throw, putting it out with just enough space for Ray to reach out and grab it.
With Elizabeth Mosquera on you on defense, you have to put that disc out where only Aaron can get it. You know, if it's something Aaron can catch standing up, Mosquera is going to be able to make a play on that. So, getting it done.
Right now, 18-13, Revolution Pro with the lead. This live stream brought to you by Spin Ultimate. This broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, the official live stream sponsor of the Premier Ultimate League. You can hear in the crowd in the background right now some excited fans looking to power through Rising with about 26 seconds left on the third quarter clock right now. And here comes the pull from Rising.
That's a nice floater from Emily Bacher. Get plenty of time to get down the field. And Revo not able to get their traditional 4-5 quick ones.
And looks like a surprise zone here from Portland as well. Both teams playing a little bit of copycat action right now.
Got NASA on the mark and moves chasing the around. Be interested to see if it holds up as we switch to the other sideline. There's that small ball Revo is possibly better than anyone in the world at.
And there goes the end of the game clock here for the quarter.
I'm noticing our clock on the stream says 26. The clock in stadium says 0. And that's the end. Third quarter, when the possession changes after time is out, that's the turn. We're heading to the fourth.
And then in the fourth quarter, always the possibility for some exciting last-minute plays on that buzzer beater. And some of our crew on the sideline have a little bit of fun juggling the disc. And at the end of the third quarter, it is Revolution Pro 18 and Portland Rising 13. One more quarter of play left here in this presentation of the Premier Ultimate League.
I was trying to count earlier. Oof, that grab from Kay Cole, just deciding it was not going to hit the ground. And then
immediately thinking end zone, popping right to her feet, guns a-blazing. A little bit of flair on the end of that one too, love to see it. It is 18-13 at the end of the third quarter here with Revolution Pro leading Rising. We're back with your fourth quarter action coming up in just a few minutes.
Opponents. I've met my share of them.
I've gone up against thousands.
And if you want to beat them, you can't just sit on the sidelines.
You need to do what it takes to come out on top.
This virus is the opponent we're all up against.
But there's a way to beat it. Get vaccinated.
It's effective and can protect you and the people you care about.
So when it's your turn, roll up your sleeves and let's get to the finish line together.
And welcome back to the fourth quarter of action here in Portland Rising versus Medellin Revolution Pro, excuse me. So proud to get to share a message from our partners, Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. You see in there DeJuan Eubanks, the president of the Maine Celtics, the Boston Celtics affiliate, and Joni Benoit Samuelson, one of Maine's heroes, legends, won the first women's Olympic marathon, I think it was in 1984, and began the world-renowned Beach to Beacon 10K race here in Portland. Just an honor to follow in some small piece in her athletic footsteps.
And as we get ready to start our fourth quarter action here at Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland, Maine, we also want to remind you that layout gloves are the official gloves of the PUL and Portland Rising. Layout gloves provide unmatched grip and performance to help you up your game. Grab your pair of gloves at layoutultimate.com. All right, 12 minutes on the clock in a 5-point game. We've seen some very fast offensive points here. Really, in the third quarter, some of our first more grueling, longer 4, 5, 6 turn tight points. So we'll see how these players come out in the fourth and if Rising's able to chip away at that lead, especially with some of the fast offense we've seen them able to initiate. Laurie to Kay Cole to start things off.
Finding Shao in motion, and that doesn't come out right, but it gets to Aaron Ray.
Oh, and the great save there, bouncing off the hands and finding on the doorstep.
That's Kate Powers to Yuga Shao to finish it off, but the story's got to be Olivia Hampton macking it straight to teammate Josie Gillette to keep things alive.
I don't know if it was an intentional mac, but I'm going to believe that it was because that was absolutely incredible. Even just the awareness, too, to have the hands stay ready and then immediately look upfield to see the open teammate streaking down.
If the coaches didn't draw that one up, they're probably going to start taking credit for it.
Getting a replay here. Watch the disc mac off the hands and then land safely in, and then immediately thinking the shot upfield.
Kate Powers taking care to make sure that one got finished calmly.
It looks like the players were discussing that one, the possibility of a pick on the field, but after about a minute of discussion, we got a point on the board for Rising. It's a 4-point game, 18-14.
That's a fun one.
It is a fun one. You love to start the quarter with a mac play. It's like getting an alley-oop.
Speaking of coaches, we've talked about Coach Mauricio Moore over on the Revo side. You met Ann Lightbody, head coach of Portland Rising, at the half. Assistant coaches on the Rising sideline are Court Verhalen, Kate Patterson, and Will Neff, doing their parts, each of them, to keep Rising making plays and competing hard.
Has there been a core mission focus for bringing these players together from a lot of different backgrounds, many of them even playing for, dare I say, rival club and college teams at various points in their careers? There's so much fun being had on the field by these players and so much excitement to all be a part of this team. Where do you think that comes from?
Yeah, two of the players on the line right now, Chloe Rouse with the disc and then Evie Clement, number 12, fifth in from the left. Those homegrown Maine players who getting to showcase who they've been in this state. Evie played with the Maine YCC teams, Chloe as well, and just have really elevated the scene, brought people up behind them in their high school programs. So getting to showcase these players who have really developed the growth of Ultimate in Maine from the player side, now highlighting them at the highest level.
And definitely seen some of that team cohesion paying off in some of those big plays and big connections here tonight. Revolution now tapping it in. They've led by as many as 6, and a tough turnover there, and a fantastic opportunity for Rising to claw back within 3.
Lauren Bacher picking up, looking for something to develop.
Stall count getting high, looking for that reset now. Able to get it back to the middle, just missing the hands of the laying out defender. And just off the hands
Of Dushka Baudet. That second attempt, you love to see it, not giving up. And Nicole Canning on the mark. Revo about 2/3 of the field to walk it up. A close one.
And a violation called a little further downfield. That one may be heading back. Looks like we'll keep it here. And stall count getting up until 5. We've seen lots of great patience, and that one just a little bit overcommitted, and a shot down the end zone now, but Blady, the full extension, not quite able to come up with it. That'll be a turnover, the disc going the other way in the hands of Portland Rising. Portland picks up. The observers stepping in, and a timeout has been called. A timeout called by Portland Rising.
I think that's a good call. This line has done a great job getting the turn on D, but we've noticed a lot of success in Rising's offense, both off the turn and on the O-line, with letting the play develop and then being able to take a shot. And I don't think we've seen this D-line take a shot yet, so it would have been fun to see them, see if they could stretch it, but I'm guessing we're putting in an offensive line to try and punch this one in now.
And that is something new that we are seeing here in the PUL, the ability to make those substitutions coming off the timeouts.
Defense line does a good job getting the disc, and then O-line has responsibility of what happens next.
Allows coaches to really bring a little bit more strategy into it, have players and lines be hyper-specialized even more than they already are. And we do see some of the offensive players coming back, like Lizzie Laurie, who looks like she's set to pick up. Nine minutes and 34 seconds left to play here in the fourth quarter of action. It's a 4-point game as Portland Rising takes on Revolution Pro.
Looks like we've got a bit of bracketing of cutters on that far side over there by Revolution's D. Near screen, this Aaron Ray Mosquera matchup, certainly one that could factor.
Laura looking for the reset and finds it. A shot to the open side now. It looks like Rising Revolution is looking to force towards the middle. Maybe a little bit of contact there and a foul called.
Fitz and Cartagena getting tied up, but...
And no contest, so Fitz will pick the disc up there.
Fitz really wanted that reset.
Laurie making the sliding catch.
Olivia Hampton wide open in the middle of the field, moves the disc quickly. Fitz gonna take that shot.
Taking that shot into the end zone and falling just out of reach of number 16, Erin Ray. But that's a shot you got to take 10 times out of 10.
We've seen Ray bring in that same ball several times tonight. Just that one had a bit more pace on it.
Just a less than a half step behind it there.
Alejandra Torres picking up the disc and starting the offense for Revo. Devlin and Lizzie doing a little contain in the backfield.
And here comes that shot downfield from Revolution Pro. It's hanging, and the big D
Yuga Shao getting up in front of Leaf Volchek. That's, we've said those two players' names a lot. I don't know if we've ever seen the...
I don't know if we've seen the one-on-one matchup. That may have been the first time tonight, but Yuga Shao getting great positioning there to go up and challenge it, getting the hand on the rib to bring it down. A reset towards the middle now for Rising, swinging to the far sideline. The big fake. Stall count getting high, looking for the reset upfield to the handler, and a miscommunication there for Rising leads to the turnover.
Both teams taking a second to get the disc moving again.
This is another, even after that timeout and some substitutions, still another long point for these subs that checked in about halfway through. And a shot downfield now from Revolution Pro.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. And looks like the catch was made, but a possible injury now. Teammates coming onto the field. Coaching staff and trainers coming onto the field now. Rising and Revolution Pro players all taking a knee. About 7 minutes left on the clock here. We are currently paused for injury. Right now, Revolution Pro leads 18-14 over Portland Rising here in Portland, Maine. Elizabeth Mosquera going down after a fantastic cut downfield and coming down with the disc. The training staff and coaches now with her on the field. Both teams taking a knee, looking on. And if you're just joining us right now, we are in an injury timeout between this matchup of Revolution Pro and Portland Rising, this matchup of the Premier Ultimate League. Elizabeth Mosquera going down with an injury here with about 7 minutes left to play in the fourth quarter. Both teams taking a knee, looking on closely as coaches and training staff tend to the Revolution player. Fans looking on too. And Mosquera is back to her feet now, being helped off the field by training staff and coaches. A round of applause from fellow players and the crowd. A standing ovation now.
God, you gotta hope she's okay.
She's made her mark all over this game tonight.
This game, period, this sport.
One of the top players in the world. Some of the highlights we've seen from her tonight, just another day at the office. Gotta hope she's gonna be okay there.
Jimena Montaña picking up the disc as replacement. The observer making sure everyone is knowing what's going on.
So it appears that there was a good catch before the injury, just about a yard out from the end zone. Perhaps even less, right on that end zone line. Right now it's a 4-point game, and Revolution Pro has the opportunity to punch it in, go back up 5, stall coming in at 3. The reset here, and Revolution looking for those big break side throws that have been very successful for them here in the second half. Violation called. Another injury. Let's go rolled ankle, shaking it out. Will stay on the field. No stall here, coming back in at 0, floating up and to the corner of the end zone.
Cartagena to Ospina, Copy as her teammates call her. That's money.
We've seen Copy find the disc in the end zone more than a few times tonight. Right now, 19-14. Medellin Revolution Pro leading here with just about 6 minutes and 41 seconds left to play in the fourth quarter. It's a 5-point game. We've seen Portland do a fantastic job of chipping away at that lead, but each time they get within striking distance, Rev Pro comes up with a series of great offense to slow them down and build that lead back up. Let's take a moment to thank some of our rising partners, Main Movement. Main Movement, a husband and wife team with a passion for health, wellness, and having fun. Main Movement helps you stay active in whatever you enjoy. To them, an active lifestyle means being pain-free and having the energy that you need to reach your goals. They offer a full range of services, including bodywork, personal training, and nutritional coaching that span the entire life cycle of healthy living, and their clients come from all ages and backgrounds. So if you're looking to eliminate pain, develop a new training program that's tailored to your specific needs and goals, or need help making better nutritional decisions, they're here to help. You can find Main Movement on Instagram, Facebook, and mainmovement.com. Thank you to Main Movement. Rising now with the disc at center field, advancing it a few yards back towards the middle. A nice
NASA making sure, diving on the disc, and then Sarah Judd having to work to keep that one in her hands.
SJ with the good hands, catching it in traffic, now looking towards the end zone. And a bobble and a collision, a bobble again, but it looks like it resulted in a catch close to the sideline. A foul may have been called. It looks like Revolution feels that may have been caught out of bounds after the bobble and the contact. The observer coming in now to help the players reach an agreement. There was a good amount of shoulder-to-shoulder contact there after the bobble in the end zone. Number 32, Megan Wilson, making the catch, but we'll see what the call is. It looks like they agree that it was caught out of bounds. The contact did not affect. So Revolution will take over. They lead by 5. 6 1/4 to play here in the fourth quarter. Towing the line there.
Looks like there was a pick, doesn't affect the play, but Laura gets to catch up.
Izzy Laurie's found the end zone a few times tonight. Big swirling around throw and a huge D for Rising to turn it around. Looks like there was some contact called. That one's going to be contested and head back.
Oh.
Oh, no contest from SJ. And we'll stay with Lena Perea. SJ on the mark here. And that one a little bit overthrown. Sailing out of bounds. Rising will pick up. Laurie moving towards the disc to initiate the offense.
Calling the cutters in close, wanting there to be a deep space to cut into.
Laurie upfield now. Looking to the end zone. The big flick. Sailing. Oh, and coming just off of the hands of the cutting deep.
Looks like a little bit of a miscommunication there. Laurie could have thrown it earlier, decided to throw it after all. I think NASA thought she had the read on it and then last second had to adjust.
NASA able to get the hand on it. That's a tough one to rail in. Fingertips falling just onto the rim.
We've got a timeout on the field.
With a timeout on the field right now, we'd like to thank everyone watching all around the world, and thank you for tuning into the 2021 PUL Championship International Tournament. A special thanks to all the fans who are here in person with us tonight in Portland, Maine at Fitzpatrick Stadium. Now, if you're watching this YouTube stream and enjoying the game, consider donating the cost of a ticket to the PUL. Links are available here in the live stream you're watching right now and the PUL website. That's premierultimateleague.com/donate. One more time, you can make that donation at premierultimateleague.com/donate. Defense taking their places now after that timeout. Got Laurie on the mark.
And readjusted our clock to reflect when the timeout was called. 4 minutes, 40 seconds left to play.
Ooh. A
Yikes.
near collision in the middle field. Thankfully, everybody gets out of the way, and Revolution able to come up holding the disc. Revolution keeping it in closely up the sideline, now finding a little more space upfield to work with. Looking for the reset, get a fresh stall count right now. Fakes the big around.
Just content to let 6, 7, 8 seconds just tick off the stock, waiting for it.
A lot of trust in the teammates as well to be there for those third, fourth option cuts. And that one falling, sailing a little bit out of reach for Revolution. 3 minutes and 30 seconds left. It's a 5-point game. Revolution leads 19-14.
Players looking a little tired, I gotta say.
Who could blame them?
It's been a hot night, a long night.
A hot night, lots of long points, especially here in the second half. This is one of several grueling points we've seen.
Megan Wilson cuts for the reset.
Sliding to the knees to make the catch.
And a lot of space you can see here between the handlers and the cutters. That is no problem. Oh, it is a problem.
There's the problem right there. It's called great defense.
Two problems in a row.
Two problems in a row. We've lost count of the problems at this point. And a timeout called by Rising. And again, here with the Premier Ultimate League, these teams are both able to make substitutions during this timeout if they'd like to get some fresh legs out there. Some folks who have maybe been hot tonight on some of their throws after there have been a few misconnections on this most recent long point as well.
For our local Portland, Maine area, we have additional entertainment once you need something to keep you going after the 2021 Premier Ultimate League Championships. Portland Stage Co., Maine's largest fully professional nonprofit theater, invites you to the Johnny Cash musical, The Ring of Fire, in collaboration with Maine State Music Theater and shown in downtown Portland. Learn more at portlandstage.org. But for now, we got all the entertainment
But for now, we got Ultimate. We got live Pro Ultimate in Portland, Maine. What more could you need? I will say it has been incredible seeing Portland come back to life this summer as the COVID-19 pandemic, as it did for communities all across the world, caused so much damage here, and seeing this vibrant city really come back to life over the last few months has been truly wonderful to see, and this is a great way to celebrate the Ultimate community here, and part of that rising, if you will, as well. Oh! The focus to hold on there, number 26, Rachel Westgate. No D will stop her.
Copy did everything she could on that one and
The
still
big around
continued.
throw now, not able to hold on to it. Now Revolution streaking down the field, thinking end zone. Some contact over the top.
No one really close enough to put hands on that one. 2 minutes left. This has been a long point.
This has been a very long point. It's eaten up a solid chunk of the fourth quarter here. And it looks like no call there. Rising will pick it up on their own end zone. Want to take it 80 yards to score.
And that's just tired hands from Alex Odie. Tough shot.
Tired, I would have to imagine somewhat damp. Violation called, another pick in the middle there. 1:36 to play. And now that we are in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter on those violations, the clock stops. Oh, just missing the big layout attempt for Revolution. All right, here comes Kay Cole after freshly checking in after that timeout.
You see here playing defense in the blue necky middle of the field, Leaf Volchek. Leaf is our Spin Ultimate player of the game. This broadcast is brought to you by Spin Ultimate, and it has shown you every inch of what Leaf has been able to do on offense, you know, catching in the end zone, but remembering that massive stop on a dime layout bid, unsuccessful, but just glimpses of the athleticism that Volchek has shown across the entire field all night tonight.
Some smothering defense as well. We've seen Revolution go with somewhat of these junky, wide, spaced out zones, but it's really mucked up the middle for Rising. And you can see Leaf as she moves up and down like a piston on this field. Rising now with a chance to find a score here late in the quarter.
You gotta imagine that's a little too open.
That's probably a little too open. Looks like there is a violation called. That one may be heading back. About 33 seconds left to play, and a pick has been called.
In the final 2 minutes, as you can see, the clock is stopping upon every violation, and this is where we are coming close to our buzzer beater territory. The game will end when the clock hits 0. So no possession, no play it out. Let's see what happens.
Portland in a fantastic opportunity here to take a shot towards the end zone. Back towards Cole. Cole thinks around and finds her cutting teammate into the end zone. It's number 26, Rachel Westgate. Westgate's also had a big game for Portland tonight on offense and defense. Active hands, more than once a tipped disc not being up to stop her from finding it and controlling it. And right there, being available on the break side throw, cutting towards the pylon.
You see the captain, Caitlin O'Connell, number 52, hands up in the air, like before that was even caught, and the first one to her teammate. That is classic Caitlin. really emotional, thoughtful leader of this team, and translates on the field.
End zone offense doesn't get any more simple than that either. The very simple, dump, swing it around to the break side, somebody cut towards the pylon from the back. They drill that in the lowest levels of ultimate instruction, and they do it for a reason. It works here even at the highest levels of play.
All right, 16 seconds on the clock. We've got O'Connell, Emily Bacher, Henkin, Lou, Moose, SJ, and NASA. We can see what they can do in 16 more seconds.
I'm feeling D and score. Stuff and score. It's been a fantastic matchup here tonight between Revolution Pro and Rising as we enter the final 15 seconds of play. That disc rolling down. Stopped. Revel will look to take perhaps one more shot towards the end zone. We're in buzzer beater territory here. And a big shot getting a little bladey. Control, 2 seconds on the clock left. 1, and that's the game. I believe that will likely have to be wiped off the board. I don't think that will be a score. Buzzer went off before the release. And that's the game. Final score, Medellin Revolution Pro 19, Portland Rising 15.
Seeing some big cheers and some tired cheers here as we've completed this hot, grueling, but very exciting game. Revo Pro takes it 19 to Portland Rising's 15. And our next opportunity, we are back at it tomorrow. We've got a doubleheader coming to you from the international tournament of the 2021 PUL Championship Series. At 3:30 p.m. Eastern, we have Portland Rising taking on Austin Torch from Texas. Austin is in town, ready to play. And then at 6:30 p.m., we'll see Revolution Pro taking on Austin Torch. So an exciting day of Ultimate.
And then it doesn't even end there. On Sunday, one final game between the two teams with the best two records between this round-robin play right now will face off in a final of this tournament to take home all the marbles, if you will.
I think we're seeing a little bit of a distance high-five line here, showing respect to opponents and, keeping the need for sanitizer to a minimum as we've tried to stay as safe as possible while putting on a really outstanding show for you tonight.
You could see all the players wearing their masks this evening. Of course, lots of traveling being done by lots of these players, the extra precautions in place, but so much joy still being seen through those masks, no problem. Lots of teammates supporting each other, supporting their opponents as well in a hard-fought and very close game right down to the wire here. And we want to thank you for joining this presentation of the Premier Ultimate League. We are back with more of this tournament action tomorrow afternoon here on the Premier Ultimate League's YouTube channel. For Portland Rising, I'm Ross Ketchke. Thank you for watching, and good night.